Welcome to another edition of the Will Be Blood Fight Show. I'm your host, Dave Duenas. What's going on, guys? I know I haven't been doing a lot of predictions, aftermaths, or keys to victory. Just been really busy with the interviews and then the radio show that's coming out, Leave It in the Ring, in about less than 2 weeks and stuff. So I just been really busy taking care of a lot of things. Okay, so let's kind of zoom in. We got a lot of stuff to cover, okay? Gamboa. Honestly, I don't know. When's the last time we've ever seen the Cubanos really sit on their punches and start to look exciting? Every Cubano that came into the ESPN fight card was, doing their thing. They were getting their guys out of there. Gamboa especially looked fantastic. The only thing I got with Gamboa is this, guys, is when are we going to see him with somebody that's going to test them? So far everybody that's been in there has been pretty much been in the same traits of the Mike Tyson era, where everybody that was put in for Mike, they just kind of lay down for him. I'm not saying that the opponents are, are purposely getting laid out, but, they're getting laid out pretty rapidly. It kind of leaves a lot of questions left in there, kind of looming around the heads of Gamboa as like, okay, how good is he? We don't know, he fights off of instinct. We don't know how well he would do if a Juan Manuel Lopez jumped up, or we don't know how well he would do if he jumped up to 130 and faced like a Robert the Ghost Guerrero. So there's so many things, it's gotta find, we gotta find out some way, somehow. Unfortunately, at 126, there's nobody really there to really test them out, if there is, they're a lot older and stuff. Okay, so actually, Prescott was on the main event card, and Humberto Toledo was the opponent. Okay, and what I liked about that fight was Toledo really tested him out. He was able to take his shots, and he was able to pressure Prescott. When you saw him get a little frustrated and he was getting a little worried, he really didn't know how to handle it and keep his composure. So you saw him, his face expression told the whole story. He didn't know how to keep a poker face. But on the last round and all that, where you saw, okay, this is it, he's gonna take it because of by unanimous decision. Toledo does the thing, the unthinkable, okay? He bites homeboy on the shoulder. I don't know. How do you defend that? You know what I mean? If you're rooting for Humberto the whole time, and you're like, okay, come on, man, you got a left to knock him out. You've heard him already once. He's there to be hit. You just got to leave it in the ring and give it your all. Well, he kind of just threw that out the water and stuff, man, when he bit homeboy on the shoulder. It was due maybe to frustration. It was due to, I'm going to lose anyway, so I might as well go out with a bite or a bang, right? And that's exactly what he did. So I don't know what they plan to do, the commission plan to do with Humberto Toledo, but hopefully it's a long suspension for biting Prescott on the shoulder. Now, let's move from there. On Saturday night, we had Miguel Cotto, John Duddy, and Kelly Pavlik. Okay, let's start off with John Duddy. John Duddy, I really liked what I saw that he was doing. He's now under the tutelage of Winky Wright's trainer, and so we were able to see him use the jab, really circle his guy and drop some bombs, Having Matt Bonda in front of you is a very tough journeyman, first off, okay? Guy's a tough guy, doesn't have all the greatest boxing skills in the world, but he's a very durable guy. So John Duddy being in there and being able to hold his own with them was actually really good, because I've seen him in there with Yodi Boy, and Yodi Boy is a much older journeyman, got a lot of wear and tear on his body and stuff. So when Yodi Boy was able to give John Duddy a run from his money, I had sat back and said, well, John Duddy's not that great then, you know what I mean? Should have been, if he was a hot prospect, should have been able to kind of walk through Yodi Boy, okay? With Matt Bonda, he was able to show a little bit more. He was able to show that he had some boxing skills and he has some intelligence. He's just not a guy that runs on gears, okay? He's a guy that knows how to shift and get out of the way, out of danger when it's needed. Now, Matt Bonda at one point hurt John Duddy in the later rounds, but it was a little too late, to keep going and stuff, because John Duddy had controlled the fight. What do we say about John Duddy? Well, at 160, I think there's just too many tough competition for him. Unless they keep putting guys in there, that are going to be C-class and possibly barely breaking into the B-class style, he's going to have a lot of problems. If anything, he should move back down to, well, he's never been down there, but move down 154. But he's still going to have a lot of problems. He's got a lot of tough fighters down at 154. So where do we really see him? Well, if he keeps working on his boxing skills and he keeps working on his footwork and his jab, and he starts working on that head movement, shifting side to side, then he might be able to possibly be a big threat. But other than that, I don't really see him being a threat at 160 or 154. Miguel Cotto having his shot at Jennings. Jennings came in. You know what I liked about Jennings, what I was really impressed by him, was his footwork. You know, he got some speed on him, but he did answer some questions in there for us to kind of figure out with Miguel Cotto. Some questions to figure out for Miguel Cotto, but some questions there still on Miguel Cotto. First off is with Jennings going in, Jennings did get on his bicycle and he backpedaled, but it was good. It was a big size ring. I believe it was 24 by 24. I'm not really sure, but what he did was he made Miguel Cotto use his legs to cut off the ring, kind of shift in there, bob and head his movement and stuff. But what else he did is he turned Miguel Cotto and he would drop his straight right. And when he would drop his straight right, now when you have a damaged jaw and it's no longer there, any kind of solid punch will hurt you, your mentality or whatever, and your mind will tell your legs, hey, go down. And that didn't happen with Miguel Cotto. He ate it up and he kept going forward, okay? So that told me there that, you know what, his jaw is not completely damaged, but Jennings not the biggest puncher in the whole wide world, but he did land solid. The other thing was how good were Miguel Cotto's legs. Was he going to be reluctant? Was he going to pressure? Was he going to come back to his old self? Well, we got in the beginning, the first 2 rounds, I saw that Miguel Cotto was a little slow, a little hesitant, but after that 3rd round, when he got warmed up and he got back comfortable in his little scenery, we saw him put the pressure. The other thing that I liked about Miguel Cotto, what he did was, you know, when he switches to a southpaw, man, he does it so smooth that you barely even catch it. I caught it after on the replay when he did it, when he knocked down Jennings, okay? So what was answered? Well, is Miguel Cotto back? Yes and no. For number one, Jennings is not no Mosley or Kaladi. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, next fight should be Kaladi or Mosley. Honestly, if I was managing Miguel Cotto and I was in the corner of Miguel Cotto, I would say no. Really, realistically, we need to take 209 right now just to rebuild back your confidence, rebuild back your skills, because Kaladi is a tough fighter. Mosley just came off doing the destruction of Margarito. Mosley's running off a high right now. We need to let him get that high, bring him back down to eye level to remind them who's the better boxer, which would be Miguel Cotto. So at the moment, business-wise, bad. Business-wise for Kaladi and Mosley, of course, you go after the guy that still you believe is a damaged horse, that is still not strong. He's not a strong racer on the horse field right now. So of course, Mosley and Kaladi, it's a great idea to go after Miguel Cotto, because the question is still there. How well is he going to react to a guy that when you apply major amount of pressure where he cannot hurt you? And Kaladi is the man where you would have to say is not going to get hurt by these shots. You know, it's going to be really hard. This is a really tough, durable guy. You know, Kaladi in a lot of ways is like a much better Ike Corte, bazooka. You know, he's got that style where it's a peekaboo style, but he moves forward. He keeps moving forward and he puts a lot of pressure. So we don't know how well Miguel Cotto will react. I like to see Miguel Cotto go after somebody right now that still is going to make him look good, let him bring back that confidence so that Miguel comes back full-fledged when he does challenge the bigger and better elites of the welterweight division. Okay, now let's go on to Kelly Pavlik. I know a lot of Kelly Pavlik fans email me, they're like, he looked fantastic, he's back. I don't know what fight you're watching. Really, Pavlik looked slow. He looked hesitant. He didn't look really to himself. You know, Marco Antonio Rubio, first off, is a tough journeyman, okay? Marco Antonio Rubio really disappointed me in this fight because Kelly Pavlik was about that he had asked for and been begging for some time in his career. Now, when he came out, I don't know what happened. It was like stage fright. He just wasn't there to fight. He was just pretty much there to be put in front of Kelly Pavlik so Kelly Pavlik can just, you know, drop some bombs and really use him like a punching bag all throughout the whole ring. So, but when he did open up, you saw some things in there that I was just like, whoa, what is Kelly doing? For one, Kelly got into the whole Hasim Rockman type of defense, which you put your hands out and you're not really covering up or trying to, you know, go underneath the punches. He just put his hands out, so he was getting clipped. From a much bigger puncher, more experienced guy, he's going to get hurt or possibly knocked out. So those are some things that he still needs to correct. Another thing, too, was the motivation in Kelly Pavlik. You didn't see that real deep killer instinct in him. He didn't come at him right away. You know, he took his time, but it was like taking his time a little bit too much. You know what I mean? For a guy that was there to just being beaten. Marco Antonio Rubio, you saw it in the first, second round. He was gone. He didn't want to be there anymore. anymore. You can see the hesitation. He was just like, yo, just take me apart. I'm not even throwing punches back at you. Just get me out of here. I want to get my paycheck and I want to go back home. So Kelly Pavlik should have caught on to that. His trainer should have caught on to that. Went right at him, cut the ring off, corner him, and just damage the guy and get him out of it. But he didn't do that. He hesitated. It might have been, he's still a little bit shell-shocked and stuff. So really in this fight, I didn't see the best of Kelly Pavlik. I just saw Kelly Pavlik just got his feet wet again, and now he's just trying to have to make his way back in. But he's still in the undisputed middleweight champions. Who do I really want to see Kelly Pavlik get in there? David the Destroyer Lopez. If anything, David Destroyer Lopez is going to be there to fight, and he's going to test Kelly Pavlik to see if he's there. Now, if I was David Lopez right now, and I was managing him and part of his team, I would be calling out Kelly Pavlik. I would be knocking on Bob Arum's door and saying, yo, I want that fight. That's his fight right now that makes more sense. Not John Duddy. That doesn't make any sense for Kelly Pavlik to go after him. But David the Destroyer Lopez. Arthur Abraham, the same thing, the most avoided man in the middleweight division. Does Kelly Pavlik want him at the moment? I wouldn't see why he should. He's not there at that moment to take on a Arthur Abraham. Arthur Abraham, to me, honestly, will not sit there and be put as the punching bag. He's gonna go there and he's gonna look for a knockout. So there's some really good potential fights out there. Whether or not Kelly Pavlik is back in full form to take those fights, we don't know. I didn't see anything out of him